This next section that we're going to discuss is mastering relationships. I feel like mastering relationships is an important key for some of the pieces that we've already discussed. In the last section, we were just talking about how addiction, and one of the pieces that we named that would counter addiction is connection. And so, if we're able to master relationships, then connection is at the bottom of that. And so, a very important piece here for us to be able to tap into. Two things I want to define in order to understand relationship traits that we do not want in our lives. One is codependency, and so the codependent interaction that we talk about or referring to is I like to describe it as a triangle of bases with only two players at a time, where each base has a trait or a role that you play. So victim based, perpetrator based, rescuer based, not in any order, so anybody can run any way they want or any direction they want. But if somebody goes to a base, if somebody stands on a perpetrator base, the other person chooses to go stand on either the victim or the rescuer base. So there's a constant exchange that happens, and nobody necessarily has to stay on the same base or move, but that interaction creates an unhealthy relationship and interaction. So you end up with a relationship, but a relationship without real connection. Um, the second definition is the fear-based relationship. So the fear-based relationship is all about manipulation, using another person's weakness or ambition to take advantage of their situation and create a relationship based on, instead of connection, again, based on fear. The more that we are able to rid of those pieces, I think our relationship starts growing in connection. But I also feel like there needs to be a replacement, and so I think love is the most important piece here. We will go a little bit more in depth about love later on as it relates to you, but for relationships, I think that there's some pieces that I want to be able to bring out about what love actually is. So I think number one, love is definitely taking care of yourself, making sure that you're taken care of, because I don't really believe that you can love others effectively if you can't take care of you and love you. Love is also you being able to control you, having instead of us having to attempt to control other people, it's more about you focusing on controlling yourself, not linking your actions to another person's behaviors. So, love is you being able to do things independently of how somebody else is interacting in the relationship. Love is also leading with compassion. So the premise that everyone is doing the best they can in your mind, knowing that the next person that you're trying to make a relationship is doing the best that they can do, gives you a chance to lead with compassion. Allowing truth to replace fear or threats. Open, honest relationships. So I believe that love is open, honest relationships. And so instead of us having to fear or threaten in a relationship, we can let the truthfulness of our scenario liberate our relationship into a connection. Vulnerability and willingness to participate in your relationship the way that says we are vulnerable and we're willing to interact in ways that could be harmful if we allow it to, or if we create that. But more than anything, we give ourselves a chance to connect with somebody if we can be vulnerable. So love is also vulnerability and willingness to participate in your relationship with that vulnerability. And finally, I think that love is being intentional about building your relationship. And so really thinking about the actions that will create a better scenario for you and your partner. So how do we know if we master this section here, which is mastering relationships? The first thing is identify and eliminate ineffective relationship interaction, and then replace that with the best version of you. Let go of needs, your need for others to behave a certain way for you to be okay. And then love will be the motor for how you are interacting in your relationship. The more we're able to master these qualities, we end up being able to say that we're relationship ready and we are creating excellent relationships. So here's a discussion and challenge. Assess any relationship in your life and then respond to the following. What are your relationship behaviors that need to be eliminated? What actions will you need to focus on doing to make sure you're loving in your relationship? And how will this help you focus on your vision?